It's time for another very requested What My French Mom Eats in a Day. This is the winter edition and she's going to be showing some typical French meals or just meals that she likes to eat and that she's eating today. So I hope that you enjoy.
Hi, I'm back. Yay! First, breakfast, of course. Most of the weekdays I have here or yogurt. But today I'll go for a yogurt. I'm gonna add some whole grain cereals. This is a mix of muesli and granola, and with no added sugar. Add like 2, maybe a little bit more. And then I'd like to add fresh fruit because there's already some dried fruit in this, but I'd like to add fresh fruit like blueberries. I just love blueberries. I usually add half a banana, but you know what? I've totally run out of bananas and I must say that it's Friday today, you know, and I really need to go grocery shopping. I'm going to put some ground cinnamon, because I know it's good for health and I like the taste very much. To finish, I usually add a few drops, you know, of plant-based milk just to make it a little more liquid, you know, so that I can stir it more easily. I forgot to say something important that I usually do. I like to have a glass of plain water before I start my breakfast. Also like to have just a little bit of pure squeezed orange juice. Just a little, just for the taste, I like it. This is what I usually have on weekdays, but on weekends I like to do it differently. Actually, it's more typically French at the weekends because I like to have bread with butter and jam with a nice cup of tea. Even sometimes, mostly on Sundays, I like to have like a croissant or pain au chocolat with a cup of coffee. So this is really what people have in mind when they think of typically French breakfast, I think. Saw your silhouette in the backlight. Where we could have met in a past life, dreaming every night like the last time. So I end all my days with you. Yeah, we should share a backseat in a taxi to get home. No need for either of us at this point to sleep alone. 'Cause I don't like ending my days with you. You can waste my time if that's what you wanna do. Oh, I don't mind if all that you say's not true. No, I don't mind. I just wanna end all my days. I usually have coffee between 10:30 and 11 in the morning. I like to take a break, and I also have to have a little something sweet. It can be a chocolate biscuit or a chocolate. I like it very much. Okay, so now lunchtime. So for lunch, I'm going to make something. It's rather quick. It's typical from France. It's called l'Aligot. The basic food in this is this typical cheese called tome fresh. It's from the mountainous regions of France. And I was just thinking that it might be hard for you to find it in your country, but I would say the equivalent could be like Gruyere cheese or Emmental cheese, except that this cheese is slightly softer than Gruyere, for example. Okay, so first thing, basically it's like mashed potatoes, except that you add garlic, a little bit of butter, creme fraiche, and of course this cheese I've just told you about. So it of course it has a special flavor. So let's start with the potatoes. I've started to peel some of them, so I'm going to peel the two remaining ones. I'm going to boil them for about 20 minutes. And I almost forgot something really, really important in this recipe. It's you really need a garlic clove that will boil at the same time with the potatoes. In the meantime, I'm going to prepare a salad, because I also need something fresh and light. So I'm going to slice a beetroot first, and then red cabbage. I'm going to cut rather big chunks and put them in this very convenient utensil. I'm going to add the beetroots, and I'd like to incorporate some cranberries, you know. It becomes a red salad. I've just washed some lettuce. Alright, so now I'll be making a vinaigrette. So personally I like cider vinegar. You probably know that better than wine vinegar. Salt and pepper, and of course my staple, olive oil. Alright, so now it's time to cut the thon fraîche, the cheese, this special cheese that you can see, in slices. It's time to stop the potatoes and drain them a little, I mean most of it. And the idea now is to remove the garlic clove, to put it out. Alright, bye bye garlic. And I'm just sparing some cooking water, just instead it would be too thick. And I would like it to be just a little more liquid. Alright, so here is my potato masher. Je m'amusais. Just a little bit of butter. Some crème fraîche. Actually, for 2-3 people, I'll be using maybe 2. Yeah. Okay, I think that's enough. A little bit of pepper, a little bit of this salt. Actually, I didn't need the cooking water, so I just spilled it, and I'm going to put this back to the pan. So now it's time to incorporate the cheese, and this is rather tricky because as you incorporate it in your mashed potatoes, you really need to swiftly stir, swiftly and constantly, okay? It's good exercise for your arms. Too bad you just get to use one. You know. The last pieces. And in the meantime, I'm just going to cook for 40 seconds in the microwave those veggie sausages.
I'm starting to feel away. No, we were not strings attached. Maybe we could take that back, make it what it isn't. I wanna be with you. We just get along so well. Want you, baby, to my side. You know we get together, but we pass it out.
You usually have this aligot with pork, so it can be like pork sausages or a pork roast, or even sometimes people like to have it with some charcuterie.
Am I crazy for trying when I'm crazy for you?
So for dinner I'll be making let's say a vegetable soup. Basically it's an onion soup, which is a very traditional dish in France, onion soup. But you know, I like it when there are a little less onions, you know, and a couple more vegetables. So for example tonight, so I've started to prepare my 2 onions. I'll also be adding some celery that I've started to cut, and some carrots, you know. I prefer it that way, but I mean, the traditional dish is just with onions. I'm also having a glass of wine, which I like very much at the weekends. I usually don't drink on weekdays, it's just a habit, but I like to have a couple of glasses of wine on weekends, and thank God it's Friday. Alright, to start, I'm going to brown the onions in some butter, so I put the butter in the pan. In the meantime, I'm going to cut the rest of the onion, so rather thin slices. The idea is to brown them, or maybe something like 10 minutes, sorry. Celery. And you cut quite small pieces. So now the onions are rather colored, so I'm going to cover them with a little bit of flour. Alright, and then add a vegetable broth I've prepared, like a bouillon. So it can be a chicken broth, of course, but because I'm vegetarian, I prefer to have a vegetable broth. Actually, this one is vegan. Vegetables. Stir again. Bring to a boil. So now it's boiled, so I'm going to lower and let it simmer for 30 minutes. So I'm going to cut 3 rather thick slices of bread. You know, it's like what do you call that? A farmhouse bread, like a pain de campagne, you know. So rather thick slices, and you grill them. You know, you just grill them in the oven for about 5 minutes until it's grilled, actually. And then just a few more minutes on the grill until the cheese melts a little. Hello! So, today, Saturday, will be 5 for lunch, and I've decided to make a cassoulet. So the cassoulet is a typical recipe from the typical dish from the south of France, but you know, as always, there's a couple of traditional local recipes, but you also have many variations, okay? It's very often the case. And this one is quite different because it's first a quick recipe, because usually you use dry beans, which is not the case. And also it's a vegetarian recipe. even though I will also serve some duck confit. The essential ingredient is white beans. What I mean is that if you don't use white beans, you can't make a cassoulet. You know what I mean? It's the main ingredient. There's also a lot of meat, essentially pork meat. And I've decided to go for this vegetarian version that I like very much. And you know, to compensate for the lack of pork sausages, I'm using some pieces of leek. I've just started, so obviously a few tablespoons of olive oil, that goes without saying. And then I'm just browning some garlic and sliced carrots, okay, for about 5 minutes. Once this is done, I'm going to be adding sliced mushrooms, the leeks I told you about, the white beans, of course, some bay leaves, some tomato puree, thyme as well, and salt and pepper. And that's it. So I'll be adding everything pretty much all together, if I remember well. And then you will let it cook for about 30 to 40 minutes. So the idea, if you don't use dry beans but canned beans, the idea is to not to drain them, because you need the liquid, all right? Because you don't have the fat from the meat, so you need this.
That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like it and subscribe, and see you on my next one. Bye!